What's going on, everybody? I am here to do a review for Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. Godzilla x Kong is the latest film in the MonsterVerse that basically surrounds Godzilla and King Kong. I believe this may be the fifth installment in the series. Don't clock me on that, I'm not entirely sure, but I know it's up there. It's definitely past part 3. So in this film, you basically take two titans, Kong and Godzilla, who have had immense beef over time. I mean, they have gone at it so many times, even going back through literature and history from the existence of them being created, where they have constantly gone at each other's throats. Where now, for seemingly in recent time, for the first time ever, they have to come together and tag team and become allies to take down a more bigger threat that's even bigger than their own, in the form of the Scar King, and while under his control, Shimu. So they basically now go back down to Hollow Earth, where Kong dwells at, and he's basically living his best life, doing what he usually does. And then he comes across a threat, and he realizes that he cannot take the threat out on his own. It's no way that Kong could take down this threat on his own. And then they go and enlist, or basically go and seek out the last thing they want to deal with, which is Godzilla. Considering Godzilla is doing his own thing on the surface level, like, they can't have them be together at all. I mean, they came together briefly at the end when they were going against each other in the last movie to take out that threat, but after that they just kind of went their separate ways. But even Godzilla knows that the threat is a pretty big one, because he has to get a huge mega level power up, so to speak. And that'll explain, if you go watch the movie, why, if you saw in the trailers, why he's pink now rather than blue. Because I was hoping they would explain that, because they kind of left it open-ended, like, how did he turn pink? But then in this movie you find out exactly why he did. So they end up having to come together to take down this threat by the name of the Scar King, which also lives in Hollow Earth, but it lives even more lower into Hollow Earth than where Kong is. Kong, I guess you can say, is on the upper level, and the Scar King is on the lower level. But the Scar King has another thing that is under his control called Shimu, which is basically on the same line as Godzilla, but instead of shooting out that beam like Godzilla can, Shimu shoots out ice. So whenever it shoots out anything, it basically freezes it. And if Shimu was to really get out there like that, it could cause another ice age. So they have to prevent that threat from actually happening, which causes, again, these two titans to come together and help each other to get rid of this threat. So that's pretty much the premise right there of the movie. Now let's get into what I liked versus what I disliked. What I liked: the production. The production behind this film was amazing. I knew that was going to be it when I saw the first trailer, when it didn't even show that much. And when they showed that part where you had Godzilla and Kong running side by side, it gave me buddy cop vibes. It kind of reminded me of that, of Bad Boys. You know how you had Will Smith and Martin Lawrence running side by side, or running with each other in Bad Boys. That's what it kind of reminded me of when I saw them running side by side. And it kind of caught me off guard, because you rarely, if ever, see Godzilla run. Godzilla's more like he's just gonna walk and stump, but Godzilla was putting the pedal to the metal in this movie. He was like, F the walking. We got business to take care of. I have to run. And he indeed did. And when he got that power up, it seemed like he ran even faster. But the production design was great. How they had Hollow Earth always looks amazing. Whoever's behind the CGI department, I don't know what the budget is, but to make all of this look real, not just to have Kong and Godzilla look the way that they do, but the other creatures and the landscape and the environment, all of that looked very, very good. The other thing that I like, the fight sequences that Kong had and Godzilla had, even when they were on their own fighting, was definitely good. But when they came together to fight the Scar King and Shimu, like it was a tag team type of thing, and how they helped each other out, was simply amazing. Like, how they had them fighting alongside each other was something to simply marvel at, especially since it's not something you would typically see And when you think of Godzilla and King Kong or Kong, you always think of them always going at each other. So a lot of people probably went into this like, how in the world are they going to pull this off? How are they going to pull off them fighting alongside each other when these two characters can't even really get along in the same environment for longer than 2 seconds? But something happens in the movie, I'm not going to spoil it for you, that actually makes them come together. And it's actually kind of a surprise appearance from another being, but I'm not going to reveal that either because this is not a spoiler review. I'm trying to keep it as spoiler free as possible. That way people can go and see it, and if you do watch it, then you'll see what brings these two characters together. Another thing that I like was this other new character that they introduced. They didn't have a name for him, which I kind of wish they did give him a name, but it's this little, he's like a little brown ape. Well, the fur is brown. And when I tell you this little being came through in the clutch so many times, I was like, please try your best to keep this character around for as much as possible. Find a way, if they do make another one of these, to put that character in the next movie, because he was such a huge help to Kong. When he came into the picture, they were kind of against each other because the little ape saw Kong as a threat, and he was trying to fight him and all this other type of stuff. But then once they reached an understanding, then that's when they came together, and he came through in the clutch. It was 2 things he did that I really, really liked, and I was like, that is how you do it. And he, for being the little smallest ape there, he was holding his own against apes way bigger than him. Like, he was like fearless. Like, it's almost like Kong just kind of like not so much imprinted on him, but put an impression on him. And his little inner Kong just woke up, and he was just ready for whatever, just completely fearless, and was ready to just, scrap. And that's exactly what this thing did. I mean, the little ape was probably, the size, to them, probably the size of a chihuahua, but had the heart of a lion. That's probably the best way to actually put it. The visual effects on this was just stunning, especially when it came to Godzilla. I think that's where the visual effects definitely really shine the most, is seeing Godzilla power up. I always like seeing when the scales on his back from his tail all the way up to his head just kind of light up, and they do that humming noise. And then once it gets to his head, he shoots out the beam. But it's one thing that they did with Godzilla in this movie, with the power up that he did, that where the scales lit up and then something else happened. Like, I was like, whoa, I didn't know Godzilla could do that. But then realizing, because of the power up that it got from another entity, that's what most likely caused it to do it. Like, that part actually made my eyes open a little bit wide. I was like, whoa, I didn't know he could do that. But you know what? In the middle of a battle, in the middle of a war, who cares where it came from? Just utilize it to take down your enemies. And that was one intense blast that came from him or her. Because I keep forgetting if Godzilla's a woman or a man. I think it's a woman. I'm not entirely sure. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But the visual effects just on Godzilla alone was superb. Now, the one issue that I did have with this movie, and I'm gonna be honest, this was probably the slow moments for me every single time, and that's something that a lot of other people have a problem with, that I wish they would stop doing when it comes to these Godzilla and Kong movies, and that's giving a lot of the humans way too much screen time. I thought that they had learned their lesson and stopped doing that, but apparently they have not, and they still continue to give a lot of these humans way too much screen time. Not saying that they shouldn't have any screen time, because yes, the humans do serve a purpose in these movies, but not way too much screen time to the point where it's like, okay, we didn't come to see this movie to see you. We came to see this movie to see Godzilla and Kong kick ass side by side. That's really what we came for. Honestly, truthfully though, there was only one human being in this movie that actually served a purpose, and that was the little girl, because the little girl actually was like a key component to the story, and they needed her for something to happen. But besides her, all those other humans really didn't need that much screen time. But that's just my honest opinion. Besides the little girl, nobody else really needed to have that much screen time. But again, that's just my opinion. But really, all in all, that's all I have to say when it comes to Godzilla X Kong. I really did enjoy it. The action was definitely there. Again, the production was great. The visual effects was fire, literally. Again, if they're going to continue making these movies, they need to start giving these humans less and less screen time. Because I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm being completely honest with you, every time they had a lot of screen time with some of these humans, I started to doze off. Like, no lie. Like, honestly, the parts with the humans bored me. It really did. Like I said, the little girl was the only one who served the purpose in the movie. And if you watch it, you'll see what I mean. But other than that, I really did enjoy the movie nonetheless. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Let me know if this is a movie that you will check out or if you'll just wait for it to come on streaming. Be safe and be one.